everybody, welcome back. I hope you're having a lovely Sunday afternoon. I hope the sun is shining for you wherever you are, but if you're anywhere near us at the moment, it'll be pouring with rain, and I do apologise about that. But I always think that doing a bit of colouring is a bit of a rainy day activity, isn't it? When you were kids, that would be what you did when you couldn't go out into the playground. Your teacher would hand you some copier paper and some of those really scratchy pencils, and you do a little bit of colouring in. And that is what we're going to be doing in the masterclass today. We've got lots and lots of different colours. It's basically a Spectrum Noir plethora of inky, coloury goodness that we're going to be having today. That's what I reckon. A plethora. Yeah, I think so. I'm not on my own. Of course, I have the lovely Michelle with me. Hello, Michelle. How are you doing? All right?
I'm very well, thank you. I have I've got some Aqua blend pencils in front of me, so I'm very, very happy. I've got the Essential blend. So yes, very happy. Under here, I've got the Academy of Colour.
Yep.
I've got Duo colour pens. I've got Duet ink pads. I've got Classiques.
Wow.
I've got some Shimmer ink pads as well. So I am very fine. Thank you very much.
Excellent. I'm really looking forward to this because actually we have so many different mediums for colouring, and it's quite nice to sort of go back to the basics and see how everything works, isn't it? To see the different inks, different pencils, different pens, all those kinds of things.
Yeah, all the sort of like little different things that you can do with them. For instance, the Aqua blends, obviously you're going to be using water with them. I'm sorry, George is a little giddy on his last day, but he's had a scone, and he very rudely put the jam on. Did he put the jam on? Put the jam on second. Cream then jam. So we've had a bit of a debate. So everyone's a little bit giddy from all that cream.
Which way? Did you do it the other way around? Do you do jam then cream?
I do jam then cream, yeah.
Yeah, I did that as well.
Yeah.
Because I think I could get a bigger dollop of cream.
That's why I do it. Bigger dollop.
You can't do a really big dollop of jam on there because it just falls off. So
exactly.
that is my reasoning. But lots of people say they put the cream on first because it's almost like butter. Tracy puts butter on as well.
Oh, does
as a cream and
she?
jam. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's quite nice. I did quite like that. Yeah, it is quite good.
I thought, you know, the more the merrier, I
Exactly.
suppose.
Exactly. Yeah. As it's a Sunday afternoon and George is in, we do have a cream tea. That is the thing. And it's his last Sunday with us. It's his last day with us. So we're just going to have. Oh, Nicola, we won't just have cream. We won't forget about cream teas. If you're working on a Sunday with me, then we'll do a cream tea.
We'll do them in honour of George.
Yeah. We'll take a photograph of us eating a cream tea and send it to George and say, look what you're missing. Yeah, that's what I reckon we're going to do. That's right, George won't be working at weekends anymore in his new role. So yeah, he's going to be enjoying Sunday afternoons in the pub. Or having afternoon tea somewhere. Lots of people are messaging in to say hello. Lois says good morning, everyone from Ohio. Fred says happy Sunday from California. Lynn Harvey says hi, Becky, Michelle, the amazing CTV team, the wonderful social media superstar Rachel, and everyone. Guess who else is in? It's Ben!
Mr. Mccarthy.
Hello, Ben. Carlotta says good morning, everyone from Arkansas. Panda Cross says hello, everyone. Hazel says hi, everyone. Michelle says good morning, or Charlotte Clark says good morning from hot and muggy Georgia. Karen, this is my first time in the chat. Hello! Welcome!
Hi!
Are you new to watching us? Let us know. Have you been watching us for a while? Just sort of hiding behind the screen. It's lovely to have people chatting, and it's lovely to have new viewers. Any questions, please do let us know. This is your opportunity to take advantage of Michelle being here and ask us some questions. Emma says, hello, Becky, Michelle. Lovely to see you both together. Sitting Christmas carding with 12 days, colouring the stamps with tri-blends, my fave. What a lovely thing to do, especially when it's quite chilly and cold out. Well, it's not actually chilly, it's quite muggy, but rainy outside. We've got lots and lots of things to show you today. We've got Second Chance Sunday happening later on. But as I say, this show is going to be all about Spectrum Noir. So we're looking at, I'm going to move back here so I can see. We're looking at tri-blends, we're looking at ink pads, we're looking at Academy of Colour, we're looking at the Classiques, we're looking at all sorts of different things, the acrylic markers as well. Loads and loads of different things for you to see. So if you're new at colouring or you've got some questions, this is your opportunity to ask the questions. There are no silly questions, and we've always been And Michelle is trashing the place over on the other side of the studio. You may have thought that was rain happening. It's not. It's Michelle dropping all the pencils on the floor. This is your opportunity to ask any questions. So if you're a little bit confused as to the difference between the Classiques and the Tri-Blends, you don't know whether you want to go for the Aqua blend pencils or the colour blend pencils, this is your opportunity to ask Michelle and let her know what you're looking. Karen says she's been watching for a week and you're new to crafting. Well, welcome. Everybody here is very nice. Everyone. All our lovely viewers are very nice, and they're always great at giving you advice. So I think this is such a lovely community, because lots of times I've seen things on social media, on Facebook pages, where people have said, oh, I've got this and I don't really know what to do. Lots of people sort of send in their ideas, send in their recommendations, little tricks and hints. So this is a great place to be. Don't feel afraid about messaging in. Do let us know what you're getting up to. What is your first craft that you're going to be getting into? Because I see that you're new to crafting. What is the thing that has just inspired you? Has it been the colouring? If so, this is definitely going to be the show for you. The first thing we're going to be looking at are the Aqua blend pencils. So I'm going to show you what we've got here. First of all, this is 3 sets of pencils here. The first one is your portrait collection here. So you can see the colours over the top here with these. I'm looking forward to seeing what Michelle's going to be doing with these. This next one is your landscape collection here. And this final one is your essentials collection. George is making me laugh. To show you what they look like, you can see here what these colours will look like once you're using them. So this one is your board for your... This one's your essentials, actually. Oh, no, it says landscape. You're right to say landscape. It's got the wrong... I've got 2 landscape ones here. That's the difficulty. Right, we're going to go for portraits. You can see those colours there. And then this one is your landscape here. The price for this, and this is all 3 sets of these colour blend pencils. So you've got your essentials, you've got your landscape, and you've also got your portrait in here. That is 72 pencils altogether. That's £48 or $58. Platinum price is £38.40 or $46.40. I've not seen these in action, Michelle, so I'm quite looking forward to seeing how you actually use these ones.
Oh, these are one of my all-time favourites. Just grabbing a little bit of kitchen roll. So let's get started. Aqua blend pencils, the Essentials collection. If you've not seen these before, we
just need to explain. So before we went live, we were sort of giggling about. I don't even know how it started, but it started this silly way of saying essentials. We're saying a little bit like Len Goodman from Strictly, when he used to go 7. Yeah. It was essentials, and now we can't. And every time we hear that word, it makes us giggle because we remember about that. So if we do have a little bit of a giggle because we've been thinking about essentials or aqua blends, we apologise in advance. Right, Michelle, you can get started now.
Thank you very much, Becky. Yeah. Do you know, if you just imagine that this place is run by 7-year-olds,
yes,
then that's sort of, you get sort of the mentality. Beyond that, I do apologise. Do you know what? We're all a little immature sometimes, and when you get lots of immature people together,
I think it's when you get people that you enjoy spending time with.
Yes.
And we all do have a bit of a laugh. Everyone, I think, in the breaks in between the shows, we all sort of sit and chat and gossip together. And we all spend quite a lot of time in those sort of downtimes in between shows, and that is what makes a good, relationship with people. Yeah, definitely. But then it does mean that if we find something funny, we all find it funny, and then we find it funny until our tummies laugh so much that it hurts and you can't eat any more scones.
Yes, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. So anyway, we will do a demo. We will get on to it, I promise. But the Aqua blend pencils. So again, I love these. You have got so much colour in these, so much juiciness. So we're just going to have a play. We're going to show you how they work. So I've already got my image stamped out. Aqua blends, so water, so my watercolour card. I've also used my waterproof ink pad to stamp this out.
Okay.
So those are the 2 necessary things if you're going to be using aqua blends or anything, obviously, with regards to adding water. So we're just gonna start. So I think we'll start on the watering can. So I've got a few of my pencils already out, so I know which colours that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to use the dark slate. What I'm going to do with this, so I've got my water here, always in this cup with my little special lid on. I've got some of my paint brushes, so I've got lots of different sizes. I'm going to use this one. I've got my bit of kitchen roll or a tea towel, because I'm always going to sort of dab my paintbrush off. And then we're just going to colour. So what we're sort of going to do is, with the pencil, we're going to pop colour where it's going to be the darkest. So we're just going to pop a little bit of colour around there. We're just going to add some colour down there, just down that side. Down, round there. And I'm not pressing on too hard, you don't need to. If you want to go back over it, then absolutely go back over it. But we're just going to add it down that side. And then I'm going to come in with my paintbrush. I'm just going to dab that water off. I'm going to turn it round because I'm just left-handed, so it makes it a bit easier for me. And make sure I've got enough water on there. And you can see straight away that that is going to blend out. But you also can see that I definitely need to add a little bit more colour. So I absolutely can. It's dragged out beautifully. Oh, you can see that lovely, can't you?
Yeah.
So I'm going to let that bit dry just for now, because when it's dried, I'm going to go back in and add some more. So I'm going to do the same as I would if I was colouring anything. So I'm going to, if I was colouring with any of our sort of classiques, our illustrators, our tri-blends, I'm putting this on the outside where the darkest is going to be. So you can just keep going over it and over it until you're happy with the depth. And again, let's go all the way up.
If you went over it where it was already wet, would that damage the pencil?
Yeah, I wouldn't advise going back on when it's wet. You don't want sort of the pencil in, or the nib actually in the water itself. It's definitely best not to do that. So once that's dried, which obviously it takes no time at all because there's minimal water on there, then I can go back in. So let's just go up there. And definitely I think with your pencils, it's not a case of going in and really sort of pressing hard. You can see that I'm holding my nib a little bit, or my pencil a little bit further back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to build up that colour. I'm going to build it up till I'm quite happy with it. So it just means going over it and over it. But I'm quite happy with that. So we're going to bring in a little bit of water, and we're just going to drag it out. So we're going to wet it and drag it out. So it drags out lovely, just to the middle on that side. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. While that side dries, I'm going to go to the other side, add the pencil. And then when I've done this side and the other side has dried, I can go back in if I want to.
So I was thinking you were using blue pencil there, because the pencils are blue, but it's not, it's black, isn't it?
It's just the pencil.
So that's why I had to go right up to the screen, because I was thinking now I've gone colourblind because it doesn't look blue to me, but yeah.
But now
no, I didn't think to look at the other pencils on the desk. I just thought, no, hold on a minute, that doesn't look blue. What's wrong with me?
So now that's dry, I can go back over that. I don't necessarily need to pull that back out if I don't want to. It's just going to make sure that you've got that depth there. Nicola's just asked me if you can faux bleach with these. You can do I don't know. I don't know if you colour the whole background. I would imagine if you splash water on it, it is going to pick it up. So I'm going to say yes, but we will have a go at that. So
I've got a question.
Okay.
Oh no, I'll ask you this question later, because that was about colour blend pencils. Are we going to be talking about those later?
Yes, yeah, I'm going to be using
I'll ask that question then a little bit later. So we've got Aqua blend pencils, and we've got the Duo Colour Aqua, and also the Duo Colour Duo as well, aren't we? Duo Colour pencils and Duo Colour Aqua. Two different ones. No, they're two different pencils. Honestly, can't get staff these days. Rosalind says, I've always just coloured with the Aqua blends. I need to start putting water on them. Yeah, I mean, you can just use them as ordinary pencils,
You absolutely can just use them as ordinary pencils. But why would you, when you can do this? You can see, look how easy, how quickly I've done that and how lovely it does look. So it's very simple to get an amazing, amazing effect. So what you're going to do is I'm going to leave that bit to dry now. I don't want to oversaturate it all at once. So I'm going to let that dry. If I need to go back in, I absolutely will do. And then we're just going to add a little bit of blue. So I've picked my berry just round here. So definitely, so I'm colouring again where that darkest bit is going to be. So where the watering can sat on the side, it's going to be the darkest, and then we can obviously pull it out with the water.
Yeah.
So adding that on there, and again, I'm going to bring in my brush and we're going to drag it all out. So all the way, so bringing that down. You can see what I mean by how juicy they are, how much ink is in there that I can pull out, look. So it's just...
So those pencils are going to last you for such a long time, aren't they?
So very long. I've had mine for a good few years, and then we sort of re-released these a little while ago, sort of new configurations, you know, new colours, things like that. And I'm not even, my original ones, I bet I'm not even that far down, my original ones. So yes, they're going to last you a very long time. So I'm not going to colour all those flowers in, but what I am going to say is, so when you've done your watering can, if you want to add sort of an extra highlight down the middle, what you can do is you can bring your wet brush in and just, so if you've got your more pointed one, let me bring this one in. Just add, so like a water line down the middle, and then you're going to dab it away with your brush.
Okay.
And you're going to add a little bit more water, and you're going to dab it away with your brush. Because mine's quite light in the middle, you can't really see that. But if I bring this one in that I've already done, can you see that sort of stripe or that strip down the middle? I've just wet my brush, I've obviously dragged it down and I dabbed it up, and it gives you that highlight. So I've done it down there as well, just a bit of a wet brush, dab it away, and it gives you then again, it's almost like that preserved highlight that you're putting back in. So again, you can see I've used my my chrome, is it chrome? Yeah, chrome, orange and mango on my flowers. I've used my fig and violet, I've used the grapefruit, then bottle green and spinach. Again, you're going to be doing your flowers in whatever colour you want. So I'm going to pop that to the side because I'm going to bring this in. So what I'm going to show you is, let me bring in this. So I'm going to bring in this, and then I'm going to bring in one of my pencils. And just on there, can you see how you can just sort of scrape those bits off?
So what's that? Just the
It's
pigment
just,
that you just sort of
it's just the shavings from the colour from the pencil. If you've sharpened yours, which is it's very few and far between where you're going to be sharpening these. Yeah. Keep those pencil sharpening bits because it's still got all that colour on. Yeah. So instead of having to scrape my pencil nib, you've got all those sharpenings that you can just crumble on here instead. So I'm just very carefully just going to be doing that. I don't want to, you don't need to do it too hard. It's just all going to come off. We're going to add, let's add some grapefruit. So you can do this, if your piece of card is already wet, you can do this and so wet your card and then do this onto it. It's going to start sort of spreading out that colour straight away. Or you can do it this way, where you've got it on there, it's dry, but you're going to bring in your spritzer bottle. Yeah. And you're just going to spritz until you can start to see.
Oh, that's so clever.
Them sort of bleaching out, blending out. There we go. There it's going. Look, can you see it going? Yeah. This is just fun. So again, if you've got those pencil sharpenings, you're going to keep those in a box. Saves you having to scrape at your nibs, but it starts to blend out beautifully. And when you add lots more water, it blends out obviously a lot more. So if I go in closer now, you can add as much water as you want until you've got the effect that you want. Let that dry. I'll pop that to the sides. Let me wipe this off. So,
Marianne says, why would you choose pencils over aqua markers?
Because you're going to get a totally different effect.
Right.
It's just going to, the finish is going to be different. Some people prefer pencils to pens. There's many, many reasons. I like to use them all. I'm one of those who has to have everything. But aqua pencils are just brilliant. So for instance, that little technique that I just showed you, you couldn't do that with your aqua blend pens. Or your aqua pens, you couldn't do that, but you can with the pencil. So you're going to be able to do sort of different things with each different sort of set of colouring stuff that you've got. So if I bring in my finished card, I've just used one of my nesting dies just to create a lovely little easel card. So you can see the colouring on the top, that lovely blended background there. So if I just turn that round, just two little techniques, the basics of colouring with them and then using that lovely pencil shaving on the bottom.
That looks great. Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah.
Lynn Harvey says she loved doing the shaving technique. You get a fabulous result and the texture's lovely too. I never even thought that you could do something like that. Great tip. Love that. I'm having a play. I just scribbled a patch and painted it out to see if you can faux bleach once that's dried. So we're going to give it a try.
Yes.
See if it works. Right, these are our Aqua Blend pencils. These are a set of 3. So the first one is your portrait collection that you've got here. So you can see at the very top all of the colours that you're going to be getting. If I turn it around this way, you'll be able to see a little bit better all of those different colours that you would use in portraiture. The pencils themselves are quite a they've got a significantly larger core than the actual wood, so there's more of a pigment in these. I understand from being a show with Sarah. So that is your portrait selection. This next one is your essentials collection. Again, you've got all of those almost sort of essential colours. You've got with the sort of more primary colours in here. But with all of these, you're getting a sort of whole collection of all the colours you could possibly need. Then your landscape collection, there are lots of browns and greens in this particular one. So the price for this is all 3 of these, £48 or $58. The platinum price is £38.40 or $46.40 for all 3 sets of those. So really great collection, great deal for you. The next thing we have are your duo colours. So these are a selection of pencils. We've got 2 types. One is your aqua blend kind of or aqua colour pencils, and the other one is your normal pencils. But you have 2 colours, one on each end. So these make them absolutely ideal for if you're travelling and you're wanting to do any sort of colouring on the go. All the colours again that you could possibly want or need. A huge selection, and obviously then you're cutting down on space with these. Again, the price for these is astonishing actually for 2 sets. So that is your duo colour. So those are your sort of normal blendable pencils. This one is your aqua colour pencils. So again, the pencils that you've just seen Michelle using, effectively the same thing, just in 2 colours in each pencil. So they are sort of blendable. You get, basically, this is a buy one and get one free offer. £14.99 or $19.95. Platinum price is £11.99 or $15.96 for both of these. And I know when I was doing a show with Sarah, she was saying that she had these for her boys, and they worked out really well. I mean, they're not they're sort of a good quality pencil, rather than, you know, when you get the ones from supermarkets and a station, high street stationers, they tend to be a bit scratchy when you're using them, but these have got like a nice smoothness to them, so definitely worth having those. Susan Griffith says, I've never seen the sharpening scraps technique before. Wow, Michelle, I've not seen it before. So it's wow from me as well. Yeah,
a very simple technique, but very effective.
Yeah.
But quickly before we throw back, I've just coloured some of the pencil, so the aqua pencil out, and I thought we'll see if we can do the faux bleach. So we're just gonna tap some water on there, trying to make sure that it tends to go everywhere where you want it to, doesn't it, when you're doing that?
Yeah.
So I can see that I've got water on there. So if I tap away, actually I can see it coming. You maybe can't because of the texture of this. So if I just pop some drops on there and then dab it away. The longer you leave it on, obviously the more ink it's going to pick up.
Yeah.
So it's not doing the best job of a faux bleach.
Would it work better if you were not using watercolour card?
It probably would. You would have to be careful with the amount of water that you were splashing on it. So let me bring in, so I've got a piece of just normal colouring card. I'm just looking for my pencils. Let's see if it works on that. Well, we might as well while we're here.
Absolutely.
We can all learn something. Because it's going to, obviously it's going to colour and lay down that's totally different on a non-watercolour card. But again, because it's a non-watercolour card, you're going to have to make sure, if this does work, that you're very minimal with the amount of water you're splashing, because you don't want to warp your card.
No.
So let's just pop little, if you've got little splashes like that, I can't see it's going to warp it too much. So again, the longer you leave it on with the pens, the more ink it's going to soak up. So again, it's not doing the nicest job of a faux bleach. So maybe if you do it that way, and then it's not really faux bleaching per se. So I would say that that's not one that you would
use.
You would use with the pencil.
Well, good to try out, isn't it? You know, this is the opportunity
definitely.
to give these things a whirl. Brilliant.
Fabulous. We're on to my actual next demo now.
Yeah.
Duo colours. So I've got a piece of card. I'm already stamped in. So she is from the A Year of Colour. I've got so I'm going to be colouring in with my duo colours. Now you can use these over your alcohol pens. So when I stamp out and use these, I automatically pick my alcohol-proof ink pad. It's just sort of a rule of thumb. If I'm using anything water-based, I'll bring in my waterproof one. And then if I'm using my normal pencils or my alcohol pens, I just always go for that. And it gives you a beautiful, clean stamped image anyway. So let's pop this out.
These pencils, these are wax-based,
So these are wax-based. So these do go beautifully over your Classiques and your illustrators. But what you've got with these, so you've got that beautiful duo colour. And the two colours that you're going to get in that pen, so for instance, you've got the poppy and the raspberry, those two colours are going to mix and blend beautifully together. So for each pencil, there's guesswork taken out for you. You know if it's in that pen, those two colours, they're going to work together beautifully and blend together beautifully. So I think we'll start with this one and we'll colour her top in. So it's very much like if you've got any of our pencils. We don't hold too close to the nib. I tend to hold a little bit further back, and I would rather blend over and colour over and add colour till I'm happy with it. I just find when you go in close, you get that shiny effect over the top, which is not sort of the look that I'm going for. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here with the darkest. So again, that darkest is probably going to go down her arm. I don't worry too much about this, not when I'm just having a little bit of fun colouring in. So again, just laying that colour down nice and gently. So the darkest, and again, you can obviously build that colour up by going back over it until you're quite happy with where it's at. Gonna bit of colour there and there.
I always think you've got a little bit more control over pencils than you do over pens.
Yeah, I think so, because once you've got that ink down, that ink is down. But with pencils, you tend to use them and build up colour more than...
you know, lighter pressure and that sort of thing.
That's it. So I'm going to come in with the other side, and it's going to blend out beautifully. You're going to see those two colours go together, absolutely lovely. I'm going to try and preserve that highlight in the middle there. And a little bit there. And again, just blending it over until you're happy with the colour, sort of the texture. Let's narrow that down a little. There we go. I'm going to go back in with the darker bit and add more depth on that edge there. And the blend over, absolutely beautifully. It's almost seamless when you see these blend together. Bring that, so I'm going to keep swapping until I'm quite happy with where I am. And then we'll go on to the rest of her. So again, just colouring in. Let's try and leave a little bit of a preserved highlight there.
Yep.
A little one there. And then just colour that in. And again, I can sort of change the direction and not have to worry that, you know, my pen, with pens I sort of tend to do it in a specific way. With my pencil, you'll see me turning this all over. Turn that round. Let's add some colour. So it gives it a lovely, you can see my speech is getting slower and slower, isn't it?
It's a colouring coma. But it's quite mesmerising when you see the sort of techniques, I think. Evelyn says, I have the pencils, but they've always been a mystery to me. Or hopefully now you'll be able to see what you can achieve with these, with all of the different pencils. So I think, you know, that's, I wouldn't be able to choose which one I would want more, to be honest. I want them all. You have to get them out and just have a play. Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, all well and good me saying don't be scared of them, because I was exactly the same when I get something colouring wise to start with. I leave it in the packaging for a little while. So I know exactly what you mean, but then when you get them out, actually you think to yourself, why did I wait so long? I really should have done this sooner, because you're going to realise how much you are going to enjoy using these. So let's go onto her arm. So what I tend to do is where I think I'm going to leave my highlight, or my preserved highlight, I'll try and pop that there first and then colour around it. Right. So I'm going to leave one there as well. I do keep disappearing to the right, don't I? You do, you keep sliding to the right. You need to slide to the left. Slide to the left. Now I'm singing that song in my head. Yeah, it's going to be stuck there. So there's a weather presenter, and he slips in lyrics from songs during all his weather forecasts. Oh, does he? It's quite funny. I sent it to Ben, actually, and Ben was like, I've been watching him. He did one where like viewers send in what song they want him to slip into the weather forecast, and he did Slim Shady, and that was quite funny. It was worth watching. I love that. Yeah. But yeah, that was definitely, what was that song called? No, not that. The song that slide to the left, slide to the right. What's that called? Oh, I don't know the name of it. Ta-ta slide, that's it. I have to do that in the break, Michelle. I love me a bit of cha-cha slide. We'll do a TikTok. Yes, for George's leaving, we must make him dance. Yeah, we'll do a leaving TikTok for George. That's the greatest gift that anyone could possibly give anyone else, a dancing TikTok. I think so. My children are just dying inside to say this. I did one a little while ago with Craig, didn't I? We were singing some song. My kids would have died if they'd have seen it. I went home, I said to Alice, did you see? She went, yes. And that was the conversation. Oh. I went, I'm going to share it on your page. And she just laughed at me. But she's 15, so she's at that age where everything does embarrass her. Yeah. And I think there was I can't remember who it was someone quite famous, like famous Hollywood actress, and she sort of says she does everything she can to embarrass her children, you know, she really enjoys that. So if it's like, you know, when there's a family party or a wedding, it's like really stupid dancing just to really embarrass the teenagers. And I think we all take great delight in that.
I think it's the law. I think it must be done.
So.
It must be done. Our parents did it to us. We must pass it on. It would be rude not to.
Lynn Morton has asked, when colouring with pencils, does it matter which kind of ink pad you use?
No, it absolutely doesn't. I mean, I'm using my Nina cardstock because it's the smoothest cardstock, which also means you're using less pencil as well. So it's very much like with your pens. The smoother the paper, the better. So if I bring this spare piece in as well. So when you are colouring with, you will see me sort of swapping back and forth. Can you see how it's laid down lovely, but you can still see that white through it?
Yeah.
That's because of the tooth of the paper. So what you need to do is you need to sort of go both ways.
Right.
Go all ways, because what it's going to do is, because of that tooth, it's going to fill it in one way, turn it round, it's going to fill the other bit of that sort of gap in. So by flipping it round, what you're going to do is you're going to absolutely fill that tooth. So if you've got a paper or a card that you're using that isn't for colouring, you're going to find it's got a bigger tooth, you're going to find you use more pencil, it's going to take a lot more work. So definitely I would always say use your Nina cardstock because it's the smoothest and it's one of the best out there for your colouring. There was a point to me saying that. Can you remind me of the question? I got so carried away then.
Ink pads. What ink pads to use?
So yes, unless you are adding your alcohol pens to it. So if you're doing your alcohol pens first and then adding these on top, you would use that anyway. So that's the reason I always pick up this, because then it becomes sort of a muscle memory. If I'm using my pencils and my pens, I use that. Anything that's Aqua, I just automatically pick that up.
Okay. Thank you for that. Kirsty D says, my mum has just asked me to make a birthday card for someone who likes cats, dragons, horses, the colours purple and black and rock music. I said, no, I'm not making my own birthday card. Elaine says, hello guys, getting ready to go to my church picnic, so I'd have to catch up later. Watch this morning, love the things Michelle made. Me too. Aww. She made great things.
Thank you.
I'm hoping that some of them find their way into my bag. Joe Holzer says, I always use Spectrum Noir pencils now. I gave all my other pencils away. I think that is the thing that everyone says, because they're so smooth, both the wax pencils and also those Aqua pen pencils, it goes on so nicely. You sort of really enjoy sort of doing that colouring, and I don't know why you would want to keep your scratchy old pencils that, you know, I remember having, which were awful.
Exactly. So I'm going to leave that for now. I'm quite happy with that, but what I did do earlier, this is the one that I finished off. So again, using these, the only difference is I built that up a lot more, and actually, to be honest, I also went in with the deep purple and the mauve. So you've got those 4 purples there. So I went over with sort of all 4 of those and finished it off, but you can see I love the purple and orange together. So we finished her sort of off with that, and then what I did was I just created a lovely card. Ooh. So using some matching papers and backgrounds, and her soul is fierce, her heart is brave, and her mind is strong.
That is gorgeous.
So yes, if I just turn that round so you can just see how beautiful using those pencils your stamped image is going to turn out. And you can see how they lay down so smooth and lovely and easy.
Gorgeous, I love that. Is that the Bohemian paper pads, do you think, on that?
Oh, I used, bear with me, yes, the Bohemian. I've got them wrote down next to me. I'm a little bit organised for this show.
I'm quite impressed that I even managed to remember that.
That was very good.
That's what I do of an evening. I just check out
memorise paper pads.
Yep, I do. So these are the 2 sets of pencils here. So you've got your 2 duo colours. One is a wax pencil, and then you've got your duo colour Aqua. Each pencil has 2 different colours in them, which makes them great value, easy to carry, a great sort of item to have. You can see all the different colours on the back of here, but you'll see we've got lots of ways of showing you how these work. So basically, one is a wax pencil, one is an Aqua blend pencil. £14.99 or $19.95. Platinum price is £11.99 or $15.96. Right, another item we have for you on the show today is a selection of tri-blends. So these are our tri-blends, which are our alcohol pens. These are 3-in-1. So you've basically got your pen, and you've got a light colour, a medium colour and a dark colour, all within the same kind of family in here. These are the ones that you sort of see. If you're new to watching us, you'll see us using these again and again. Beautiful selection of colours in there. I would show you all of them, but most of them have gone. And they've been secreted out of the box. So you can see here all those different colours, but in this collection, you will also get 2 of your trays to store your pens. So these pens need to be stored flat, so they will look like this when you put them on your trays, to keep them all nice and flat, because you don't want to stack them upright, because all the ink will sort of move down to one end rather than the other. So for this, the set of pens, you've got 24 pens, but each one has got 3 colours, so you're basically getting 76 different colours in there, or 76 different shades of colours, and those 2 trays there, that's £45 or $65. Platinum price is £36 or $52. Now, am I right in thinking these are normally something like £70 odd for these pens? $79.99 for these pens, or $111. 190, so £79.99 is what you'd normally pay for these, but you're getting two sets of tray pens, and your platinum price is only £36 or $52. That is a great deal. Fantastic, I like these deals. Lewis said, did you use the Duo Aqua with water? We didn't use the Duo Aqua, we used the wax, didn't we? Yeah.
But you can, obviously, use the Duo
Crafty
Aqua.
Angie said, do you know where the sentiment from the card the lady came from? Was that the Bohemian one as well?
Yes,
Yep.
Her Soul is Fierce. Yes, that's with the Bohemian collection.
And Denise has asked a very serious question. Is there anything you can't do?
Yes.
She said excellent colouring.
Thank you very much. I can't answer questions on a quiz show.
We do all right when we're watching a quiz show together. We do all right, yeah. I think we'll be all right with Family
Between
Fortunes.
us, we get there, don't we?
Yeah, Family Fortunes we'll be fine with. Yes. Okay, next one is... oh no, sorry, Lewis wanted to know how you use those Duo Aqua Duo Aqua pencils with the water. It's exactly the same way as the ones we had earlier on.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I've got them here, but it is exactly the same way. So if I pop you one of the Duo Aquas out, you can see it's the same. You've got 2 colours in that pencil that are going to blend together lovely, but you're going to do exactly the same. You're going to lay your colour down, you're going to bring in your paintbrush, and you're going to drag that colour out, or just blend it over and blend it in, but exactly the same way.
Excellent, thank you very much for that. The next item I've got is this goodie bag. So this is our pigment ink pad with a Spectrum mystery bag. It's a mystery, but not for much longer, because we're going to show you what's in here. So the first item, we're going to do the ink pads first of all. Let's get all those ink pads out for you. So these are our opaque pigments. This is straw bale. We then have baby blue. We have honey put. We have fuchsia. We've got pale fig. Oh, go back to the fuchsia. And then we have oasis here. So that is your ink pads. I mean, you get the mystery bag. You've got some art liners here. So you've got different nibs on here. We range from a 0.8 down to a 0.05, and there's also a brush nib in there as well. We also have one of our rectangular blending tools coming with 2 blending pads. We've got some of our water spritzers as well, and we have some blending what do we call them? Blending sponges. I always think of them as beauty blenders, because they're like beauty blenders you use on your face, aren't they, for blending? £35.94 or $53.70. Platinum price is £28.75 or $42.96 for all of that. Wow, that is a really good price. So if you're just getting started, this is the one to go for. That is brilliant. Right, we're going to give you the opportunity to check out your baskets. We'll be back in a couple of moments.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every pound, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
If you love Crafters TV, we've made it easy for you to watch us wherever you are. Whether you catch us on your tablets or take us with you on your mobile phone, it's easy to watch us anywhere. From here to here. Maybe don't watch us here. It would be easy to watch us here. Probably the easiest place to watch us is here. Crafters TV, with you wherever you are. Here at Crafters TV, it couldn't be easier to get your hands on the latest crafty must-haves. Leave the hard work to us while you shop from the comfort of your own living room. Head to the Crafters Companion website to see our full crafty range, or hit the Shop the Day button to see all the new and exciting products featuring on Crafters TV. Once you've filled your cart, leave it to us to get your crafty goodies to you in super quick time, so you can get on with being creative. Crafters Companion, making crafty shopping a breeze.
We get to know people from places and walks of life that we wouldn't come across in our everyday life if it wasn't for Crafters TV and doing what we do.
I got so many lovely comments from people when I started doing the presenting, and it was just really such a lovely feeling. And it's nice that people keep messaging in. You know, we see the same people, and we know you can build up that kind of relationship with those people. So it's just the fact that people like what we do and they're pleased. And I do love it when people send us photographs of the items that they've made.
We talk about customers, but really they go in as a customer, come out as a friend. The support that I get is amazing. The messages I get are amazing.
Me personally, it is personal interaction. I've never had the best of health. I've always been open about that with our viewers at Crafters TV. So many people are in the same situation as me health-wise. Other people have got a completely different health issues. They understand and they relate to what I'm going through, what others are going through. So whether we interact on a crafting basis or whether we interact on a health basis, a personal basis, we're all there to support one another. It is incredible.
The reaction of viewers when they come to meet us is worth all of the early mornings when we have to get up for our early morning shows.
Some of the customers come on as craft ambassadors and things like that, craft along with us, and being able to actually chat with them on air. I love it. I really love that connection with them.
We've had lots of shows where we've done like craft alongs, especially where we've had viewers craft along with us. We had a particular viewer, Joy, who joined us once before, and she literally made me cry on air, and Joe, because the things she said about us, it really was quite humbling that there are people out there that watch us and invite us into their living rooms and really treat us like family.
Hello everybody, welcome back. We have got a masterclass on all things Spectrum Noir. So we're looking at aqua blends, tri-blends, we're looking at ink pads, anything that's Spectrum Noir we are looking at. So this is your opportunity. If you've been watching some of the shows, seeing the type of things that we're using, the kind of colouring mediums, but you're unsure as to what is the right thing, this is your opportunity to ask Michelle. Any kind of questions you might have, any tips that you might want to share with other viewers is always good, because sometimes people say, oh, actually, I use it in this way, and we think, oh, that's a great idea, never thought about using it that way. So all comments and, well, not all comments, but all tips and ideas are great to share. And now we're going to look at the Academy of Colour. So if you've not joined the Academy of Colour, it's definitely worth doing if you are keen on developing your colouring techniques. This one here has, you've got a big, in each of these Academy of Colours, you've got some things for you to actually sort of colour in. So you've got some stamped pages. You've also got different types of pens. So this one is your portraits. If I open it up and show you what you're going to be getting inside here, you will see the stamps that you're going to be getting. So you can stamp your own onto your own pieces of paper. You can see that this is the one that Michelle was using earlier today. So this one is absolutely ideal for sort of developing the skin tones and also colouring hair and things like that. And then you've got your pens here. So you've got all of those different pens. Now, Michelle, these ones, this Academy of Colour, we've got a whole range of different Academy of Colours, haven't we?
Yes, there is lots of different box kits, and each one is going to cover a particular lesson. So this one is your portraits. But what I love about these is it doesn't matter which one you get. You've got that lovely QR code in there. They're all going to give you access to all that tutorial from Leanne. Now, that for me, you don't think you can put a price on that. I mean, if you went for lessons, you know, art lessons or whatever, can you imagine how much you have to pay for those? And you also have to go at the same time each week. With these, you can log on, do as much as you want or as little as you want. But for me, if you are going to learn to colour from anyone, it's going to be Leanne, because she is just amazing. She really is. So not only do you get the stamps and the paper and the card, if you got the original one, it comes with the big binder. For me, it's that tutorial from Leanne. But what you also get is access to that Facebook page. So there's a Facebook page that you can join where you're all sharing your makes. And again, it's that community that you guys are amazing at creating. So you've got all that as well. But yeah, it's just an amazing series of stuff. I think, is there over 88 hours worth of
and if you buy one box, you'll still have access to all of that information.
You do, you get access to all of that because it's that QR code in whichever one that you do buy, because what's going to happen is you're going to buy one, then you're going to want to go get them all. But yeah, it's which is a brilliant thing. You know, Leanne does give you the education right from that first box that has got, so the stamps that's in that first box, there's a cylinder, there's a square, there's a circle and there's a heart. So you think, why on earth would I pay money for those kind of stamps? But actually, you stamp those out, and when you're going through that tutorial with Leanne, and she's showing you or explaining to you how when light hits certain things at certain angles in certain places, where your highlights are going to be, where your low lights, where you're going to preserve a highlight. So all of that stuff, it means nothing to you because it didn't to me to start with, then this is absolutely for you, because that education is just invaluable. It really is.
Yeah. Great.
Really is.
To show you on the back what you're going to be getting here, so you've got your watercolour card, you've got your alcohol proof card, you've got your stamps, you've also got a stamp magnetic sheet, as well as all of those different pens. So this is £30 or $45. Platinum price is £24 or $36. And as Michelle says, the thing that is really key here is the education that you're going to be getting. So there's a QR code for you to scan once you get it, and you'll be able to access all of the tutorials that Leanne has done specifically with regards to the Academy of Colour. What are you going to show us with this, Michelle?
So we're going to use one of these stamps from this particular box set. So I thought I haven't stamped anything out, so I thought if this is your first show that you've watched, we'll show you right from the beginning on how to do this. So literally, I'm just going to pick one of the stamps, and I'm going to pick her because, no other reason, it's just a beautiful stamp. So I'm using my stamping platform. This is my 8x8 one. This is the one I will use every time. So I've got my Nina cardstock. Again, that is the best for if you are using our alcohol markers or our pencils, sorry, the ones that you just saw me using. So I'm going to pop her down onto my paper, then I'm going to put my top bit on and we're going to lift her up. And then I know that wherever I've placed her, it's going to stamp in exactly that same position. I'm going to be using my alcohol pens, so I'm going to use my alcohol-proof ink pad. So it's like a yin and yang. This is a water-based one, so when you colour in with your alcohol pens, it creates that barrier. It doesn't bleed together or anything else. So it's the same if you're using our water or our Aqua pens or pencils, that ink pad is going to be alcohol based. So then that means that when you use your water with it, that's what's going to create that barrier. It's not going to bleed or anything like that. So it's like a yin and yang that you are creating there.
Okay.
So you can see that that's stamped out beautifully. If it hadn't, I would be able to go back in and restamp, and I'm not going to miss any bits at all. If you're having trouble when you restamp, if you are getting a shadow in, the only thing that I can suggest that you might be doing wrong is when you're pressing down, you're pressing maybe from the side, and as you press down, it moves a little. Because you can see it's on those feet, it's on those lovely springs, which is what it enables it to do what it can do. So what you need to do is wherever your image is, you need to hold right above that and press down there. Then when you need to restamp, you're going to press right above your image again. You're not going to get that tiniest little bit of movement. So it's always from above where your stamp is, straight down, and you're never going to get that shadow in. So, popping this to the side. If I'm going to use my alcohol pens, I'm always going to pop a sheet of card or scrap paper underneath, because what happens with your alcohol pens is when you are colouring, and if you've coloured and blended lovely, you're going to turn it over and you're going to see lots of ink. Now, if I go straight onto here, that ink is going to sit on there. It's got nowhere to go. So what it's going to do, it's going to soak back up into this, back through, and it can affect your picture, whatever it is, if you're colouring in.
Okay.
If you colour onto a piece of card or scrap paper, that extra ink is going to soak in there. It's not going to come back up. It's not going to affect what you're colouring in. I just thought for that one, we'd cover all those sort of basics that you might need to know. So then what we're going to do is we're going to colour her in. I've picked some of my pens, so I've got the lovely, so it's earth brown and the bark, and then that is sand and natural brown, and then I've got this one. So this is the ice grey and my true black. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with her hair. So I am going to start with the darkest, which is the bark. And I'm going to go just right on the outsides here. You've got that lovely brush nib, so it's perfect for colouring in hair. So you can see I'm sort of doing a little flick effect, which obviously for hair, things like that, it's just going to work beautifully. I'm going to come in with that one that's just that little bit lighter. You're still going to tickle over the edges of that darkest that you've just put down there, because then that's what gives you your blend. And I'm just, again, sort of doing that little flicking motion just over. You don't want no sharp edges, you don't want no straight edges, because you obviously wouldn't get that naturally. If you're colouring something in that's got a natural straight edge, then fair enough. So the next one, so I'm going in with my natural brown. So it's, again, it's a little bit lighter, just over the edges of there. And let me just put that bit there, just so I can sort of judge. I'm going to, so she's got that hair in a bobble. So at the basics of that preserving a highlight, my highlight's going to sort of curve there.
Yeah.
So that's not something that's, it's something that we sort of naturally know. As soon as we learn to, or decide we're going to learn to colour, we get scared straight away of those preserved highlights. But actually, common sense, and not something that I have a lot of, but common sense, you automatically would know, actually, if I looked at her hair, that is where that highlight would be. So I think we get a little bit scared, we make it feel a little bit harder than it's going to be, when actually it's not.
But these are sort of the things that are talked about in Leanne's tutorials.
Absolutely. She will go through all of that with you. How to preserve your highlight, where if the sun's coming from the left or the right or on top. But we naturally know that anyway. We naturally know if the sun is coming from this way, we know that obviously it's going to be lightest here and darker here. So it's going to be lighter here and darker here. So we know that. But as soon as we try to colour and all that goes out the window, you think, I have no idea where the highlight is. But actually, if you stop and think, we would naturally know that anyway. We'd just get scared. But
Lynn Harvey says, I love watching Leanne colour. I've been watching her colour since Spectrum Noir pens were first launched, and I've learnt a lot from her. Leanne is very talented with her colouring, and the Academy of Colour kits and videos are a brilliant way to improve your own colouring.
She is absolutely amazing. If you're going to learn from anyone, it's going to be definitely from Leanne.
I'm looking forward to Leanne teaching me how to crochet, because I cannot crochet, and Leanne said she's going to teach me.
Another something that she's absolutely amazing at. So you can see, just by doing those little flicks, obviously again, you're going to take a little bit more time, and if you've got Leanne, you're going to stop, start and pause, rewind. But that's just a little bit of hair that I wanted to show you. So then what I'm going to show you is just another little technique. So I've got my true black, and something I like to do is, so lots of little dots. So I'm going to pop lots of little dots just along there where it's going to be the darkest. And because I've got this lovely brush nib, it's going to work lovely. So I tend to go across. We're going to just again add lots more, sort of building it up, trying not to be too uniform with it, adding lots of those little dots. And then the further up I get, the less dark ones in this true black I'm going to add. I'm going to come in with that grey, and in between these we're going to add some grey, and again just doing sort of lots of little dots, adding them sort of in there. And again, the further up you go, the less I'm going to add. So you're still doing that blend from the darkest to the lightest, but the further up you get, the less of that particular colour you're going to add. And then I'm going to sort of fill that up with lots of little, they almost look like teardrops, to be honest. Lots of little dots, obviously less towards the top, and just keep filling it up. And then I'm going to go back in at the bottom because I feel I need more dark or true black ones, which is good because obviously these are going to blend out, so they're going to go over each other wonderfully. And you're just going to keep adding all those little dots. Obviously I've gone over a little bit. If you do go over, don't forget, with our Classiques, you have got that clear one, that blender. Do I have one? I don't have one with me. But you've got that blender pen. So what that does is if you've gone over where you don't want to, so you get your blender pen and you're going to colour over that little bit. And what that blender pen does is it pushes the ink through. So you can remember before when I was saying about how your ink comes through the other side? Yeah. Your blender pen, it's a clear one, it will push that ink through. So basically it is getting rid of that overspill that I've done. Oh, okay. Pushes it through, gets rid of it. Almost a little bit like magic. So if you carry on and with the dots and finishing ahead just like you saw me doing, the only other thing I've done, I pressed on a lot harder with this one. I was a lot lighter with my hands, so I've got lighter dots. But you can see how you get the same effect. You're going to put a lot more black here, probably around her hair as well, which I didn't do. And you're going to, as you go up, you're going to do less dots.
And it's just like a sequin dress, isn't it?
It is very much like a sequin dress. And then her skin. So let me pull out the colour that I used for her skin. So which did I use? It would have been, oh, you've got aquas in here as well. Don't forget you've got aquas in this one. EB for fair skin. Which ones? 6 and 8. So let me get, so I used this one for her skin. So again, if you look at this one and then look at that one, you can see the darkest bits are going to be there around where her hair is sitting. So you're just going to go around those bits there. I try not to draw a straight line. So rather than drawing round it like that, you'll see me do it in little bits, because then you're naturally not going to get an accidental straight line, which is absolutely what you don't want. And then you're going to do the same. You're going to sickle over that. You're going to blend that out. And then obviously to her shoulder, it's going to blend out even more. The more you go over it, just over that edge, it's going to blend out even more. And then you're going to keep doing that until you're happy with the colour, which I am with that. So then all I did was I've matte and layered her onto some black card. But before I did that, when you sort of use these kind of monochrome colours, what I like to do is I like to bring in my jet black in my water reactive. I'm just going to pick a bit of ink up. And we're just going to very gently just take that edge away. So just, yeah. You'll be a little bit more light-handed than me. I've just put some yucky marks on there, but that's all right. It will blend out. It'll take a little while for me to blend it out, but it will blend out. And then just keep going until you're happy with the amount of black that you've got on. And then if I bring in the card that I've finished, so sort of from this to the one on the card, it's just a nice little simple front stepper card. But how simple does it come together? It's just about having the confidence to do it than anything else. Just having the confidence to pick up, if it's your Academy of Colour, if you've got any of our pens anyway, pick it up and just have a play.
That looks lovely. Really like that. It's so impressive. Everyone else is thinking it's impressive as well. Jean F says, Michelle, you're amazing. You usually way above my pay grade. Mary Beth says she's back from joining from Minnesota, just home from church. Now I'm going to watch the first hour back. And Rosalind says about using the rotating design board. That would be ideal with that, wouldn't it?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. So this is your Academy of Colour. This is your portraits. So in here you're going to be getting some paper, alcohol-proof paper, as well as some watercolour paper. You're getting your stamps. You'll also be getting your storage panel, as well as a selection of alcohol pens and aqua pens in here as well. More importantly, you're going to be getting that QR code with all of the tutorials that you're able to use to ensure that you'll be able to get all that all those techniques, those tutorials from Leanne. £30 or $45. The platinum price is just £24 or $36. This, for anyone that's been doing Academy of Colour, they really do rate it. They do say it's amazing the difference that you get from learning how to, from Leanne, how to do all these things. So this is definitely worth popping into your basket. We've got some pictures, have we? Excellent, let's have a look. Some nice makes. This is from Caroline. Oh, I like those stamps. There was that, no, the two sisters, weren't they? I like those. That's a really nice selection of cards there. That's from Caroline. The next one is, oh, that's a beautiful 80s, not 80s, but 80 birthday. That's lovely, isn't it? Beautiful colours, love all that. Again, that was one from Caroline. Then we've got another one from Caroline with a 90th birthday and some of the flowers in there. Beautiful. Next one we've got, oh, look at that shoe with some of the plaid pads. Plaid pad pumps. You've got that, yeah, very nice. Next one we've got is that beautiful, so is that the, what's that one from? Is that the...
That looks like Secret
Garden. What about the Enchanted Dreams?
It could be that one as
well.
well.
I don't know. With some daisies. That looks like Delightful Daisies paper to me. Yeah, thanks. Don't know what those shutters are though from. And next one we've got, that's a nice one with the cakes. That's like how lunch was for us here. Cake and afternoon tea. We always like to celebrate that it's a Sunday. We're saying goodbye to George because it is George's last day with myself and Michelle. And he's very sad.
Rude.
Very sad as well. Susan says, how professional is that colouring? Kathy Kornberg says, I sat I say it every time I'm in the chat, those Academy of Colour classes with Leanne are fantastic. I use all my purchases now. She makes everything simple and builds on the skills that she teaches. Definitely worthwhile you popping that into your basket. Right, the next thing we're going to have a look at are the shimmer ink pads. Yes, you're right, Nicola, they are filthy. I don't know who's been playing with these, but they're a dirty selection of ink pads, unfortunately. I think it's because these are quite juicy, aren't they? There's a lot of colour in these. So the first one in this collection, so we've got 10 altogether. This is raspberry. Then we have amethyst. We have frosty mint. We have toffee apple. We have lime soda. We have starlit sky. We then have sugar plum. We have peach rose, queen bee, and then tropic blue. There's this last one here. £45 or $65. Platinum price is £36 or $52. To show you some of the, I've got some of the little samples. You can see here different types of things that you can do with these shimmer ink pads. So you've got some backgrounds that you can make here. This one with your faux bleaching. These are wet into the paper. So this one going through a stencil. These are looking lovely, aren't they? All these different samples. This one through a letterpress. Then we've got creating your custom colours by mixing some of the two together. Using over an embossing folder, using it as a watercolour. This one is stamping with inks and then spritzing. We've then got this one, which is stamping with inks, then colouring with alcohol pens, oil over the top with those inks. And then this one here, colour with, and die cut with your ink pads as well. Really very versatile selection of colours, and they're having those kind of shimmer to them. They're beautiful. These are different shapes to the old ones because they're more ergonomically correct. And you're right, Nicola, you can use these to create your own Centura Pearl card. So you could just be rubbing these over the back of your normal card to get all those kind of iridescent colours if you want something to absolutely colour match something that you've already done, or maybe you've run out of Centura Pearl in a particular colour. You can make your own. Kathy says, is there a difference between the shimmer inks and the metallic inks other than the colours? Are they different?
There is a difference. Your metallics are just those metallics. So you've got gold, silver, bronze, like a rose gold. You're obviously going to get the metallic effect, but you get more of a hint of with those. But with these shimmer ones, it's not. It's full on, in your face, bold colour, rather than sort of that hint of. And obviously those are metallics. These are shimmers. And these are a pearlescent, but again, you can do the same. You've got the ability to heat emboss with these. They're gonna, you're gonna be able to blend and things like that. So yes, so they're both a pigment, but with the others, they're not as colourful as these. These have definitely been made and created, so you get the full-on depth of colour that you expect when you take that off. That's the colour that you're going to get, definitely. So yeah, those are just your metallic colours. These are lovely colours. Again, you saw Becky going through those colours, sugar plum and toffee apple. Besides the fact that it's going to make you very hungry, it always comes back to food, doesn't it? This is why it always comes back to food. You know, we're set up to fail to start with.
We are. We had a long conversation in the car on the way here about courgettes.
Yes.
Courgettes are my favourite vegetable.
We did, didn't we? Yeah.
Love
and then
courgettes.
twice baked potatoes.
Yeah.
And then got hungry again.
And, yeah, then we said how hungry we were, and we always talk about food, and we've just circled all the way right back to it again, haven't we?
We did. Right, so shall I show you how we can use these shimmer inks? So I've got my stamping platform out to start with, because we're going to stamp with these as well. So I've got some watercolour card because I'm going to do a little bit of watercolouring with them. So if I've got my watercolour card, normally you would use your waterproof, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stamp straight with this. So I think I'm going to stamp
Can I ask a question then, please? So are these water-based?
Yes, you can watercolour with these. Lovely. They look absolutely lovely. But you can also stamp with them, which I like. It gives you a lovely clear image. So I've just picked up one of my stamp sets.
Can you heat emboss with these as well?
You can.
Right.
You absolutely can. So I'm going to pop that there. I've already got my sort of background cut down. I'm going to pop that there. We're going to ink it up, and again I'm always going to use my stamping platform because if I need to go back in, I absolutely can. It's just a wonderful piece of equipment. Gives it a beautiful, beautiful image. Now, what you're going to find is it's on watercolour card, so it's got that texture, so you might need to stamp in twice.
Okay.
Hence why and how this stamping platform absolutely comes into its own. And you can see when I stamp down, I put my hand straight over where my stamp is, so that avoids any of that shadowing. So we're just going to build up a lovely little background. Let's pop that one going there. So lifting it up. Don't throw your ink pad across the room. That's just me. Stamping down, creating a lovely background. Let's take that off. Pop that on there. I love doing this. I love creating my own background.
I'd never thought about it, and then I was watching a show and Craig was doing a background with some leaves, and it looked so effective, and I thought, why have I never thought about doing this before? And I really like it too. It's nice. It's, you know, I think something a little bit different.
Yeah, definitely. So let's, and again, you know, don't worry about sort of popping it on the edge and stamping over, because it's going to wipe off, it's going to clean up lovely. But even if it doesn't, if you've got some ink that's stained it, it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect its use. It's not going to affect anything that you are creating. So let's take that off. I would probably put a few more on, but just for time, we'll take that off for now. So I've brought in a few of my shimmer inks. I've got a few colours, so I've got my lime soda, amethyst, sugar plum and raspberry. So I'm going to bring that in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop a little bit down on there of all the colours. You can see when I put those down just how juicy.
Yeah, there's a lot of ink in there.
They are, yeah, definitely. Special pot, of course. Let me just grab another piece of...
You make it sound like you've had an accident with water in the past.
I know.
You talk about this special pot.
No, I never did. I'm just being very careful.
Yeah, I think you should be.
So I'm going to watercolour this in, but because I've used these, I don't have to worry about any bleeding, because when I add water, the only thing that's going to do is it's going to sort of blend in. I'm not going to be adding too much water that I'm going to lose my outline. If you want to lose the outline, use a second and third or fourth generation stamping. So what I mean by that is, this is a first generation stamping. You ink your stamp up and you stamp. That's your first generation. If you stamp that one down again without re-inking it, that's second generation, it's going to be a lot lighter. You can go third, fourth and fifth. So you just don't re-ink, you just keep stamping. And you get to a point where you have got hardly you've got the sort of smallest amount of ink on there that you could just follow to colour your image in, but when you've coloured it in, it looks like a no line image, so it looks like you've just coloured it rather than coloured in a stamp.
Right, okay.
So, and again, so that's nice for if you've got your penguins, if you want to have some in the foreground and some in the background, you'd use your second or third gen, because obviously it makes them lighter, so it makes them appear further away. So that when you hear us say first, second, third gen, that's sort of what we're meaning.
Okay.
I thought, well, I'm explaining everything. I might, if I'm saying it, I'll explain it.
That is quite useful, because you may have, people may be watching and have heard it, but not actually, not properly sort of assimilated what you've just said.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. Thank you for that, Michelle.
Definitely. Right, so I've got a little bit of water. I'm going to pick up some of this. So I'm going to colour it in a different colour. I'm going to start from the middle. And again, when this has dried, you're not going to lose any of that shimmer. It's still all going to be there. Let's blend that out a little bit more. You're still going to get all of that shimmer. You're not going to lose any of it. And you can see that I'm blending over and I'm not having any of that inked stamped image. I'm not losing any of the edges. It's all just staying there and it's staying wonderful. So you can absolutely do your blends if you want, your dark to your light, or you can just colour them in. Because just by colouring them in, you get all those different sort of layers of colour, where there's some areas that are a little bit darker than others, just by nature of the watercolouring. And this is a beautiful way to do a really quick background or a really quick card, but it still looks like you've spent hours on it. So we're just gonna...
That looks really impressive. I'd like a wallpaper like that, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it would be lovely.
Could you come to my house and make a wallpaper like that?
Do a full room?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That won't take long.
No, definitely not. A few weeks, months. Or the way I craft, yes.
Emma Bailey said, have I ever grown courgettes? We have an allotment and feed the whole street on 2 plants. Definitely a save the word kind of veg. I have grown them at home, and I was telling Michelle, I went on holiday and I ended up with the world's biggest marrow. Well, it wasn't, but it was like the size of my head. It was as wide as my head. It was huge. And I didn't know what to do with this marrow because I don't like marrow as such. I like courgettes. And I found that the WI, the Women's Institute, did a courgette jam recipe. So I thought, well, that's what I'll do. I'll make it into jam. Don't, is all I'm going to say. It was the single most revolting thing I've ever eaten in my entire life. It looked like nuclear waste. It was bright, bright yellow, and it tasted revolting. And I must have made it 15 years ago, and my husband brought it up the other day and said it was disgusting. Normally you're all right at cooking, but that was just awful.
That was
so if you've got a glut of courgettes and you think, I know, I'll make them into jam, don't. Just don't. I'm just warning you now, letting you know, don't do it. Horrible. I'll bring you in a pot.
Especially with that.
We have it with scones.
Oh, yeah. God, it doesn't sound nice, I've got to admit.
You're not keen on courgettes, are you?
No, I like courgettes.
You said in a
well, I said I think I've had them in a spag bol, and then you said no, you can't have done, and I was like, maybe I didn't.
No,
then.
I didn't say that. I said I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Courgettes in a spag bol. I mean, why not? You know.
There must be something, some sort of pasta that I've had them in.
So Nicola's talking about courgette pasta instead of pasta. Yeah, actually, I quite like that, and I do sometimes have that. No, it's nice. I like it. I like cauliflower rice as well, instead of real rice. If you're trying to be careful with your carbs. Rachel said, my mum's husband once made chutney and had a friend's trifle moment. He accidentally read part of another recipe and added in milk. Yuck, chutney and milk. That's not going to be nice. That's going to curdle, isn't it?
Oh, that doesn't sound nice at all. So, again, if I was at home, so actually, if you're at home, stamp sort of a larger rose in maybe 1 or 2 places, then come in with your smaller rose and fill it in. And if you've got an even smaller rose, then fill it in with that one as well, because that always looks lovely. And then all we're going to do now is, again, you can do exactly the same with this. Just wet your paintbrush, and you can do, if I've got enough water on it, you can do that lovely splosh effect on there, which always looks lovely. If you don't want it over your roses, if you've got some masking tape, stamp your rose out onto the masking tape, fussy cut it out, pop it over there, and then while you're doing this, it's not going to go onto any of your roses, it's just going to go in all those little side bits. But I do love a good ink splash effect, except for the fact that it goes everywhere. Goes everywhere but where you want it to go. So just a couple of the things that you can do with this, a couple of my favourite things. I tell you what you would do. You would absolutely not, let me bring in, waste any of that. You're going to bring in your water spritzer. You're going to spray that on there. You're going to bring in a spare piece of card. Let me just grab one. And you are going to, if you want to sort of wiggle it about a bit in all that water, then absolutely do it. But don't waste it. Bring in your card, preferably your watercolour card, and you're going to be able to create some beautiful backgrounds. It's just a shame. All that ink is there. Don't waste it. Pick it up, pop that to the side, leave it to dry, and then you've really not wasted anything at all.
Because you're going to use those for all sorts of different things,
Yes.
aren't you?
Even if you don't want to use it as a background, you can use it to cut out your leaves on this particular bit, on the colours, you cut out your petals, things like that. Or if you do want to use it as a background, you absolutely could do. But it just seems a shame to waste all that when it's down there. And then what I did is I did exactly the same. I stamped out the larger one, but this time with the black waterproof ink, coloured it in exactly the same way. And then if I bring in this, just pop in that background with that one on the front. So by the fact that I've stamped that in black and those in the colour, it pushes that to the forefront and just creates a lovely, simple, but very, very fun, mindful card to make. So if I turn that round, move all my mess. So, I mean, you guys know, if you've seen me before, how much I love to watercolour with an ink pad. But these shimmer inks are beautiful because you still get all that shimmer come through, even though you've sort of watered it down.
That looks so effective. I love that idea, using the backgrounds. You always inspire me. When I come home after I've done a show with you, I get all my stuff out. And my husband goes, "Oh, God, you've been watching Michelle again, haven't you?" Yeah, yes, look, there's ink everywhere. Right, this is our collection of shimmer ink pads. You've got 10 in this collection. This first one is your lime soda, beautiful rich green that you've got there. Then we've got your Queen Bee. That was Regina George, wasn't it? From Mean Girls, she was a Queen Bee.
Oh, yes.
Amethyst. We have raspberry. Don't know why I said it like that. We've got toffee apple. We've got sugar plum. We've got, what's you called? Starlit sky. Peach rose. Tropic blue. And then frosty mint. £45 or $65, £36 or $52 is your platinum price. These ink pads are going to last a really, really long time. Well worth the money. Right, we're going to go for a quick break, give you an opportunity to check out your baskets. We will see you in just a moment. Bye.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
Are we in trouble or are we all right? Yeah. Should be coming in. Should be coming. What does she do? Exactly how he looks.
This is awesome. This is awesome.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
And I watch you every day, and it's just what really gets you through when you're really at rock bottom.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV, create every day.
A few weeks ago on the show, we were talking about places where all you guys lived. Well, we might have used Google Earth just to have a bit of a sneaky look at the village, town, or city that you lived in. And I thought it might be quite funny if I wrote a little ditty and I put on my Facebook page, where do y'all live? And I'll put your towns and cities and village into my little song. But I didn't realize that there would be about 425 responses. So I'm gonna cram as many places into this song as I can, but I won't get them all in. We craft everywhere, man. We craft everywhere. From over here to there, man. We craft everywhere. In crafters we've got our share, man. We craft everywhere. We craft in Lydney, Lynbrook, Launceston, Lehana, Tampa, Darlington, Almond Beach, Sedalia, Wills Point, Widnes, Wildwood, Wildham, Archer, Chatsworth Lake, Walkerburn, Yate, Bay, Hesperia, Sublimity, Pinhole, Avon, Freeport, Mapleton, San Jose, Enumclaw, Great Bend, Detroit, Keniston. We craft everywhere, man. We craft everywhere. From over here to there, man. We craft everywhere. In crafters we've got our share, man. We craft everywhere. Crafting Parachute, Paradise, Pollux, Papillion, Sheepshead Bay, St. Petersburg, Seacon, Sutton, Saturday, Bristol, Brighton, Brooklyn, Blackwood, Barnsley, Tide Squeeze, South Shields, Temple Hills and Bentley, Tampa, Pillar, Tucumcari, Cary, Ottawa, Hull, Harrisburg, Lexington, Tupelo, Cincinnati, Austinburg. We craft everywhere, man. We craft everywhere. From over here to there, man. We craft everywhere. In crafters we've got our share, man. We craft everywhere. Crafting Loxahatchee, Lakesville, Lawrence, Lacey, Livermore, Albuquerque, Weeki-Wachee, Pensacola, Elsmore, Mechanicsburg, Williamsburg, Rebella, Houston, Burlington, Wet Wang, Market, Drayton, Yale, Memphis, Wellington, Wapakoneta, Homer, Sassa, Santa Rosa, Wichita, Honolulu, Riverdale, Melbourne, Commerce, Fintana. We craft everywhere, man. We craft everywhere. From over here to there, man. We craft everywhere. In crafters we've got our share, man. We craft everywhere. Crafting Newton Abbey, Richmond, Dudley, Georgetown, East Kilbride, Eugene, Ferrum, Rhinewood, Walkerstown, Newarheim, Fort Wayne, Gloucester, Chester, Long Beach, Raphael, St. Dominic's, St. Cloud, St. Augustine Beach, Sand Springs, Romford, Tulsa, Traverse City, Wesley Chapel, Ballarat, Medina, Ramble City. We craft everywhere, man. We craft everywhere. From over here to there, man. We craft everywhere. In crafters we've got our share, man. We craft everywhere. Crafting Sawbrook, Tucson, Kissimmee, Philadelphia, Chicago, Las Vegas, Biloxi, Latte, Elmira, Glendale, Scottsdale, Anchorage, and Hurtville, Seattle, Go Canyon, Ipswich, Cumberland, Unionville, Toledo, Miami, Atlanta, Cleveland, Go Canyon, Altoona, Calounda, Port Orange, Glover, Rising Sun. We craft everywhere, man. We craft everywhere. From over here to there, man. We craft everywhere. In crafters we've got our share, man. We craft everywhere. And there's a few more places I didn't manage to get into the song. West Runton, Newcastle, Kingswood, Sandbach, Carlisle, Bewley, Albury, Durham, Springfield, Ashington. We craft in Greenville, Lincoln, Nebraska, Sumter, Oak Park, Winchester, Knappville, Stoke-on-Trent, Mount Pocono, Greenville, Charlotte, Oxon Hill, Tunbridge Wells, Modesto, Haverhill, Sierra Vista, Arecibo, Morgantown, O'Fallon, Aurora, Black Forest. We craft in Hermiston, Brownsburg, Henderson, Socorro, Fort Myers, Mandenholm, Hilliard, Farmingdale, East Moline, Summers Point, Calgary, Charleston, Sawston, Malden, Galloway, Fitchburg, Hopewell, Aberdeen, Winstead, Castlewood, Chatsworth, Limestone, Victoria, Willoughby, Rockland, Canton, Falmouth, Conestoga, Lyndhurst, Ashbourne and Cluj-Napoca. Oh yeah.
Hello everybody, welcome back. I don't know about you, but watching that little video puts me out of breath. I don't know how Ben managed to do it. It is very impressive. I do love that song. Kirsty D says, Becky, I can promise you that I will never make anything with courgettes or marrows. You're missing out. Nettie New says a courgette and chocolate cake is absolutely amazing. I think that'd be a nice bit like carrot cake, isn't it? You know, it makes it moist. I'm quite hungry. I'm going to have to go home. Oh no, it's Sunday, isn't it? The shops will be shut. Won't be able to go and get any courgettes. That's sad. I have to go and get some tomorrow morning. Never mind. Right, back on to Masterclass, and it's all about Spectrum Noir products. We've been looking at Aqua pencils, we're looking at ink pads, we're looking at wax pencils, we're looking at tri-blends, and we are looking at Classiques, which is what we're going to look at the moment. So this is a 72 pen pack, or packs, a bundle of the Classique colours. The first one I'm going to show you are our florals, and beautiful sort of pinks and purples in there. If I turn them around on the other side, you'll be able to see all of those different colours. So this price you're seeing is for all of these, not just one or two. Then the next one is your nature. Put them that way, you can probably see the colours on here. So our Classique markers have got a bullet nib and they've got a fine nib on the other side in one whole colour. This one is your pastels. You see all those beautiful colours here. We then have our brights with all of those kind of primary colours and sort of bright pinks and neons. We then have our jewel colours with those beautiful amethysts and sort of azure colours. And then we have vintage with lots of dusky rose and sort of muted tones in here. All of these, 72 pens altogether in this Classiques range, is £70 or $100. Platinum price is £56 or $80 for all of these. Now, the Classiques, Michelle, what would we be using the Classiques for over above any other pens?
Anything, well, I suppose it depends what project you're doing and just what takes your fancy.
Yeah.
I love our Classiques. So again, I think nib as well plays a big part depending on what you want to colour in. But with your Classiques, again, so the dual tipped, you've got that lovely fine nib on one end. Is it a bullet nib? And then you've got that chisel nib on the other end. So you can see, obviously, with this chisel, you're going to be able to colour in a lot more. And then you've got that fine nib, obviously, to get into those smaller places. And again, depending on what you're colouring in, depending on just what you fancy using. But my Classiques, I absolutely love. I think, what is the 218? All in all, besides the fact that they look absolutely beautiful when you've got all of them in their trays on your shelving unit. They are absolutely beautiful to colour with. So we're going to start, let me pop that there. Find the one that I use for her hair. So I've just picked a few of my Classiques. We're going to colour her dress in the most beautiful green. So I've got my JGs, so that's the jade green. So I've got jade green 1, 3 and 4. And then for her hair, I've got my soft brown, which is an MB2. So we're going to do it in exactly the same way. I'm going to pick my lightest one, which is my pistachio. And we're going to start colouring her in. I can't speak today.
That's all right.
So just at the top there is where I'm going to preserve sort of a highlight. And as long as I'm not sort of creating a perfectly straight line, that's all is good. So just colouring that down. So that's the number 1. And then I'm going to go in with the darkest of my 3, which is number 4. And I'm just going to dab it sort of there. It's going to naturally be a bit dark around her hair there. And we're going to leave that. So then we're going to go in with the mid. And as always, we're going to just tickle just over those edges. And you can see that when I use my Classiques, I tend to use that little circular motions. It just works for me. You might do it or find a different way where it's a lot better for you. I'm going to come in with my lightest. I'm going to go back over the edge of that mid. And then we're going to bring it all the way up. You can leave some of that white there if you want. Just a tiniest little bit, or you can leave a lot of white there if you want. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to come back in with my mid because I feel that needs to come a little bit further up. So just
would you say that, because they're alcohol markers, aren't they, in the same way the tri-blends are, would you say that these are the kind of pens that you would have as well as the tri-blends, or instead of, or do you think you start with the tri-blends because you've got all of those tones in there and then you move on to these as you get more experienced, or the other way around?
So I think your tri-blends are brilliant, especially if you're a beginner, because you've got those 3 shades picked out for you. So for instance, your dark reds, there's 10. So if you're not experienced or you're new, for you to pick from those dark reds, which ones are going to blend beautifully? Does number 1, number 4 and number 8 go together well? Is it number 1, 3 and 5? Obviously, because the higher the number, the darker it is. If you've got your tri-blends, in that one tri-blend pen, those 3 colours, those 3 shades that are going to go perfect together have been picked for you. So definitely if you're a beginner, I would go for your tri-blends. And then obviously when you advance, if you want all of those colours, then that is probably when you'll go on to your Classiques and then your illustrators, because again, they've got different nibs. And plus your tri-blends are just great if you travel, if you go to the caravan, you're going to be taking 24 pens with you instead of 72. So I think there's pros and cons for everything. And again, when you've got all your Classiques, I just look at mine on the shelf. They're all in order. They look beautiful. So even if you do nothing else, then just look at
them.
And the good thing is you get the re-inkers, so you can re-ink your Classiques as well. You can't re-ink your tri-blends. Some of you have done. You know, you've removed your nib, you know, quite safely and replaced it back in. We don't advise it. If you do that, then that's entirely up to you. But these Classiques, absolutely, you can re-ink those up. So that's a bonus.
I suppose because there's only one barrel, isn't it?
Yes.
With these, as opposed to 3 barrels on the tri-blends.
Absolutely.
Okay, excellent.
Right, so let's carry on down her skirt. So again, I'm going to go down with my lightest. We'll just do a little bit at a time. So I've got my piece of card underneath. So we're going to come just away. I want a tiniest slither of a highlight right on that edge. And then that is going to go down there. And then this one as well. Where that line is of the stamp, I'm just going to try and leave the thinnest sort of highlight or white space.
Okay.
And then down this particular one here, as it's coming to the middle of her, we're going to leave a bit of white space in the middle. So then let's go in with this darkest one. So this bit here for me, it's behind, so that's going to be darker. Just going to colour all that in, because straight away, even though there's no blending per se, you can see you've got that shade there. And obviously these little folds here are going to be darker. So then here, just at the top, that fold is going to be darker. We're going to bring this down just a little, and then what I'm going to do is, with the lightest touch possible, I'm going to go down that side of the line. So that line that's stamped, on this side of it I've put my dark colour, on that side of it I've left that highlight. Let's go down here as well. Down this. The good thing about these is obviously the lines on the stamps really do help you out with regards to where you need to be colouring. So let's just go a little bit like that. And again, it's all about playing. It doesn't have to be artistically accurate. It's having a little bit of fun. It's having a play. It's getting used to how they lay down, where you do get your sort of shadows and highlights, things like that. And again, let's just tickle over the edge of that. This one as well. Come down that side as well. And then just a little bit here. So this is my mid one. And I'm going to come back in with my lightest. I'm still going to try and stay away from those little preserved highlights that I've left there. I'm still going to go over. There we go. And then blend over that. So if I feel a little bit like my line's a little bit abrupt, so I'm going to bring in that second one that I did there, and I'm going to try and bring it out to a right fine point along that line that's there. It's blended. Can you see how it's blended it out so much better? Then I'm just going to go back over the edge of it and blend it back in. And you're just going to keep touching up until you're quite happy with that.
I suppose it's one of those things you need to keep working at, don't you? You're not going to get that beautifully blended shape for it immediately. You've got to sort of work at it.
Well, that's it. And the thing is, don't think, well, I've already gone dark, medium and light, I can't do any more. You can bring your dark, go back in and bring your dark out further if you want to, bring your mid out a little bit further if you want to. You can keep going back over this until you're quite happy with it. I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to leave that for now because I just want to colour in her hair. So again, what we're going to do is I've just got my soft brown, so my MB2. And I'm not going to do any shading, I'm just going to colour in just with this particular one. Because what we're going to do is, we know from the way that I've sort of coloured this in, the light is coming straight onto her, so her hair is going to have a sort of halo here of light. And again, that's something that we know naturally is what's going to happen. And like I was saying before, as soon as we say, oh, let's colour in, we panic and we forget that we know where our natural light shades and sources come from for the most part. So we don't need to panic, which we do, and I still do. Think, oh my God, where's my light source? Where's it? Actually, just colour it in. If all you want to do is colour and have a little bit of mindful fun, then do that.
Well, I think that's what lots of people are saying. Mary Pat says, no questions at the moment. I'm in a colouring coma watching Michelle. Lots of people are saying the same. Michelle's explanations and reasonings for using the different pens are so informative. I've got no questions. You've answered them all. So I'm very pleased with what you're doing. Looks lovely.
So you can see, even though I'm only using the one pen, once my alcohol dissipates away, you can go back in with the same pen, and where her little roots are, they need touching up, so they're going to be darker. So you can go in with that same pen and you're still going to get, you know, that blend out. This bit here is underneath, so it's going to be naturally darker. Go over with that same pen and you're naturally going to get another shade, so you don't necessarily need lots of different colours of the same shade. You can see just by using that same one, it's gone back in darker. So for a third time, I'm just going to go over that little bit there, and it's just going to add that little bit of extra darkness. And then if I bring the one in that I've already finished,
wow.
You can see I did the little dots on that as well. So what you can do is once you've coloured it in, if you want to go in and put those little dots over the top as well, you can do that as well, absolutely. Just going to mat and layer her onto some matching cardstock, and then I've just made a double Z fold card with some matching coloured papers. But you can see, well, I hope you can see how easy it can come together with those classiques.
Incredible. You've made that dress look like it's made of velvet. It's amazing. Wow. Really, really impressive. That's incredible. Beth says, watching the experts colour is very calming, and each one does it a little bit differently. Yeah. I think that's the, no, everyone's got their own techniques, haven't they? Wow, if you haven't already got these, you're going to want to get them now after seeing that. This is a 72 pack of your classiques. So the first one here you've got is your pastels. All the colours are at the top, you can see just those. These are all, each pen has got a chisel nib and a fine nib in them, but all just one colour. This one is your jewel. This is your vintage with those beautiful sort of muted tones in greys and lilacs. You've also got the brights. Then we have your nature with all those beautiful greens and browns. And then finally, we've got your florals here as well. This is great price, £70 or $100 for 72 pens. Platinum price is £56 or $80. Wow, they look great. I'm really impressed with those. Again, how are we going to choose when we do demo of the show? Who's going to know? Should we do it now? Oh, time's marching on, isn't it? Well, we should do.
It really is.
Well, if you get all of your makes together, that would be fantastic for me. Rosalind said the green is very pretty. I do like that kind of really sort of, it's almost like an emerald green, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
That's the colour dress I wanted to buy, but I haven't been able to get an emerald green dress.
For
green dress might be quite nice.
An upcoming photo shoot.
Yes, we've got a photo shoot coming to your screens very soon. Very exciting. Right, have you got them already?
I have, yes. I'm not sure if they're in order, but I suppose it doesn't really matter, does it?
Oh, you missed one. You've got one by the Gemini.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget that one.
Oh, I'm not used to doing more than 4.
You did 5 in the last show.
I know, I did. Right, so this is number 1 with those Aqua pencils.
Fantastic.
Number 2 is... that is the best hair ever. So that's number 2. Number 3 is the sort of black and grey one.
Yep.
Number 4 is those roses, and then number 5 is the one that I've just done.
Right, get your votes in. Numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. We already know in the gallery what everyone's going for. Susan Griffith says, the colouring is amazing, Michelle. Making cards look very special. Yeah, they do look absolutely beautiful. The next thing I'm going to show you while we're getting your votes in is your duet ink pads. So again, these are shaped like a teardrop, similar of these the more sort of ergonomically correct, like those Shimmer ink pads. So the first one we've got here is your Soft Heather. Then we've got Spring Buds. Then we have Raspberry Ripple, Awakening Forest, Rosy Apple, Sailor's Wake, Sweet Clementine,
dun, dun, dun.
And we have Waterfall. Go on and sing in my ear. Oh, no, that's not the... I was thinking of Waterfall by Oasis. Oh, yeah. It is a song, yeah. Showing my age. I'm not going to sing it because I can't remember. Sunrise Glow. And then finally, Midnight... Oh, yeah, I think about Wonderwall. Waterfall, Wonderwall, it's the same sort of thing. Final one is Midnight Mist. That's embarrassing. £45 or $65. Whoosh! Let's not talk about that anymore. £36 or $52. I used to work with someone and her client used to drop in phrases from Oasis songs all the time. So he used to, at the end of the conversation, she'd say, oh, no, speak to you soon. He goes, yeah, remember, don't look back in anger. He would be saying that all the time. To show you a few different techniques you can be doing with these Duet ink pads. Beautiful kind of like chalky effect that you get on here. Some backgrounds, ones with faux bleaching. Got loads and loads of different items in here. I'm just going to flick through them very quickly so you can see all those different techniques. But I think these are absolutely beautiful. These are some of my favourite ink pads, I have to be honest. I do like these. I think I use these more than anything else at home. Beautiful. And Michelle, I don't think we've got time for a full demo, but you're going to show us some techniques with these, aren't you?
Yes, yeah, I'm just going to show you a quick technique. So the Duet ink pads, they're a duet not because you've got two colours, but what you've got with these is you have got hybrid water base. So you have got the benefits of a water reactive, but you've also got the benefits of sort of a pigment. So what you're going to do, so what it gives you this chalky effect, and it allows you to do things that actually you normally wouldn't be able to do with sort of one or the other, but sort of popping them together, it just allows you to be able to do so much more. So I've just got one of my stamps. We're just going to ink it up, and we're just going to stamp it out with it. And again, I'm using this. I've got, obviously you can see I've got my watercolour card. So I'm using the stamping platform because that watercolour card's got that texture. You're not necessarily, and more often than not, you're not going to get a perfect stamped image first time. Without this stamping platform, I am absolutely not going back in over that 3, 4, 5 times. It's never going to happen.
No.
But with my stamping platform, it absolutely does. So let's just give that a good press down.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly say to you all, it's currently a tie about demo of the show, so you need to get your votes in as quickly as you can to see if we can try and break the tie.
Right. So on top of so the fact that you can stamp with these, they're also going to blend beautifully. So let's bring in the Rosy Apple, the Raspberry Ripple, and the Sunrise Glow. And I'm going to use my brushes because they just work beautifully with this. So from the top, I'm going to pick some ink up, and you're just going to brush it over. And the fact that you've inked out in the same stamps of the same ink pads as well, just showing that you can do more than one thing with the same ink
If you weren't
pad.
lucky enough to get the brushes, because they did sell out very quickly, didn't they? Can you use your normal blending tool?
Oh, you absolutely can. It goes on a little bit differently with the normal blending tool because you get this lovely chalky effect with it. These brushes just work absolutely beautifully with it. I know lots of you, we do know, you can get these kind of brushes, similar brushes, big brushes with handles. The brush for me works absolutely beautifully. So if you didn't get it, I know we've got them, we're getting those back in along with those dotted tape pens. So
they're all on the same shipment, are they?
I think they are, yeah. I think it's lost at sea somewhere. But you can see you also get that blend as well.
Yeah.
And because it's that chalky finish, it blends over beautifully. And even though I didn't finish stamping it, even those missed little bits actually add to the effect of this. Let's go in with the purple. Where is, there you are. So let's pop that off. And what I love doing is when you get one that blends over the other and you get that third colour. I just absolutely love it.
I like those stencils that came with it. They were really nice.
Yes.
And the stamps as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I think they all launched around about the same sort of time, didn't they?
They did. These stamp sets, there were some stencils that launched with them as well. So what I'm going to do is, or what I would do is I would cut that down. And you can see,
oh, lovely,
that way, how beautifully it blends. But then also what I've done is I've done a lovely background.
Ooh.
So I've inked it up and you can see the faux bleaching effect works beautifully with these. So because that hybrid works beautifully to allow you to be able to do that as well. I did use the stencils. So I popped the stencil on top, as you can see, I'd used the rosy apple through the stencil. So put your stencil on, ink your rosy apple through it, and then what you can do is bring in a piece of wet kitchen roll and dab through your stencil, and what it does is it lifts some of it away, so you sort of get that ghost, shadowy effect.
Nice.
And then obviously a few little gems in the middle, and you've got a beautiful card.
That's stunning. I love those colours. The colours work really well. It's like watching a sunset, isn't it? That's absolutely gorgeous. Right, we've had a bit of a toing and froing because there was a lot of, I think loads of people loved all of the cards, but we do finally have a winner. So in the gallery, what did you think it was going to be the winner? Okay, and Michelle, what did you think?
I think I like number 5.
Okay, so in the gallery they're saying between 5 and 1. Michelle's saying 5. I thought it was going to be 4, but actually it's number 1.
Oh, is it?
Congratulations.
The little one.
Yeah. Oh. The one you nearly forgot.
The one that I forgot all about. With the
well
pencils.
done, Michelle.
Thank
but they're
you.
all, as always really, really lovely samples and demos that you've done. And, you know, you're explaining how everything works as well. I think, you know, you make it, you make me want to go home, like I say, and have a go.
But then my job here is done, because if I can show you something and you want to go get it out, realising it's not as scary as you thought it's going to be, then my job here is done. Absolutely,
your job there is done. So the last thing you were using were the Duet ink pads. So these are available on the website as well. Lots of different colours as you've seen before. Shall I quickly run through the colours one final time? We've got enough time, haven't we? Oh no. Oh, I thought for one moment, Rachel has said, no, it's changed again about who the winner was. Right, you've just seen Michelle using these beautiful colours. This first one is your Sunset Glow. Then we've got your Sweet Clementine, Midnight Mist, Spring Buds, Soft Heather, Raspberry Ripple, love that colour. We've got Sailor's Wake, Rosy Apple, Awakening Forest, and Waterfall, not Wonderful. That is 10 of those all together in that little pack here. £45 or $65. Platinum price is £36 or something dollars, and I didn't read it in enough time, so I don't know how much that was in dollars for your platinum price. Anyway, it's a bargain because you can see all the things that you can do with it. We've had lots of fun today on this show. It's been brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got another show, our last show with George, later on tonight. It's sad. George, you brought a champagne to have in your last show, haven't you? No, he's going to make us a cup of tea. Cup of tea and a slice of cake is what we're going to be having. But I do hope you've enjoyed the show. Any new people, please come back again. Second Chance Sunday is your opportunity to see all of the great launches and the great shows that we've had during the week. And you can see all the fantastic deals that we have. We're always giving you great deals. Remember, we have a 20% off over the bank holiday weekend. It's not off machines. There are certain restrictions, but it gives you 20% off. And the code you need to use is BANKHOLE20. It's a one-use only, and that will finish at midnight tomorrow. Yeah, midnight tomorrow, midnight on Monday. Yeah, it is Sunday tonight. Right, we're going to have a break. We'll be back in an hour's time. We'll have a little bit more cake, a little more cups of tea, and we'll be back for Second Chance Sunday. We'll see you a bit later. Bye-bye.